Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai. Ittila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shita Shishmad Shila Bhaktivedanta Nārāyaṇī Goswami Maharaj Shila Gurudev ki Jai. Nittila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shita Shishmad Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nittila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shita Shishmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nittila Pravishtam Vishnupar Ashutara Shita Shishmad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Nityal Pravishnu Vishnupara Shutara Shita Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki Jai. Nityal Pravishnu Mahābhagavat Śrīla Gorakṣaras Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Nityal Pravishnu Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākur ki Jai. Nityal Pravishnu Vaiṣṇava Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadasa Gunath Sharda Goswami Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai. Nama Chai Shri Haridas Ṭhākur ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Kṛṣṇa Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsa Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Haribol, sorry, there's somebody staying upstairs and I think they just shut off the Wi-Fi. So, um, yeah, let me just finish Chaudhary and then I'm gonna turn it back on. Um, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo Hare Krishna. Well, see the plug to what the Wi-Fi thing is next to the person's door, and there's a bunch of plugs there, and so he probably just shut off all the like all the switches, and didn't realize. So just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay. Sorry for that. Oh, God. Wait. Okay. I have something plugged in upstairs for the Wi-Fi. Okay. So let's do the Mangalacharan. It's no problem that we're starting late today, though, because we have such a short reading day today. Oh, what I was saying during the Jayadvani. Yesterday was Lochan Das Thakur's appearance day, but because we ran out of time to read about him, we'll read about him today. After we finish this 10th chapter, we only have like less than 2,000 words left. So. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tar Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadato sankirtanai kapitaro kamalaya Vishvambaro Dijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro. One second. Okay. Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Jai 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 Vishwambara Dvijaraj Jai Vishwambara Priya Vaishnava Samaj Gaurachandra Jai Dharma Setu Mahadhir Jai Sankirtanamoy Sundar Sharir Jai Nityanandir Bandhava Dhana Pran Jai Gadadhar Advaiter Prema Dham Jai Shri Jagarananda Priya Atishai Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarer Hriday Jai Jai Śrīvāsadi Priya Varganath Jiva Prati Koro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat Madhya-khaṇḍa Katha Jeno Amriter Khanda Jai Katha Shunile Ghuche Antar Pashanda Madhya-khaṇḍa Katha Bhai Shuno Eka Chitte Sankirtana Aramba Hoilo Jeno Mate Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvang Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshai Kshiptashtakama Ditaranga Madhe Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanaravindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Śrīla Vrindavan Das Ṭhākur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. Ore Muralok Shuno Chaitanya Mangal Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Beshakal Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal Jahara Shravane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal Chaitanya Nitar Jate Jani Mahima Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima Bhagavate Jata Bhakti Siddhanter Sar Likhiachen Iha Jani Korea Udhar Chaitanya Mangala Shune Jari Pashandi Javan Sheho Maha Vaishnava Hoy Tatakon Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya Vrindavana dāsa mukhe vakta Śrī Caitanya. Vrindavana dāsa pore koti namaskar. Aiche granta korite ho tarila sansar. Nārāyaṇī Caitanya. We're going to be reading about this today. How Nārāyaṇī is Caitanya Uchishta Bhajan. It's the topic of today's reading. Nārāyaṇī Caitanya Uchishta Bhajan. Tar garbe janmila Śrī dāsa Vrindavan. I'll read this translation. Nārāyaṇī eternally eats the remnants of the food of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Vrindavan Das Ṭhākur was born of her womb. तार की अर्भुत चैतन्य चारिता वर्णन जहार श्रवणे शुद्ध कोइल त्रिभुवन. What a wonderful description he has given of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Anyone in the three worlds who hears it is purified. Shahaje vichitra madhur Chaitanya vihar Vrindavana dasamukhe amriter dhar. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Ṭhākur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Srila Vrindavan Das Ṭhākur ki jai. Jai. The Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai. Jai Śrī Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai. Śrī Nitāya Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Jai. All right, so let's go over. This is going to be like the, what is it, sixth time now that we're reading this summary. But I do think it's good to keep on. Let's see, how many readings have we done for this chapter? Let's see, chapter 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, this is the sixth reading of this 10th chapter. But I don't know, I think going over it again and again and again and again, it just really, yeah, like really, I don't know, makes an impression. That's what I find, at least. So I personally don't mind the repetition, but maybe it might get boring sometimes for people. Here. Okay. So chapter 10, the conclusion of the Lord's Mahaprakash pastimes. Oh yeah, and before I start, I just want to see all who is here. Let's see. Nri Hari Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams, Bhavatarani Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, Kishore Kṛṣṇa Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Yashoda Mataji, and Ganga Mataji, Hari Priya Didi, and Raseshwari Mataji. Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat Pranams. Okay, so as I mentioned at the beginning, this is going to be a very short reading today. We're nearly at the end of this chapter, so we'll probably end like half an hour early, I'm guessing. Okay. This chapter describes the conclusion of Mahaprabhu's Mahaprakash pastimes mentioned in the previous chapter. Also, Mahaprabhu's exhibition of the form of Ram with his associates and awarding benediction to Murari Gupta, the glorification of Haridas Ṭhākur, Haridas Ṭhākur's offering of prayers to Gauranga, the narration of Advaita Acharya's previous history, his changing the text of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord's awarding various benedictions to the devotees, the Lord's first ignoring and then bestowing mercy on Mukunda, the influence of devotional service, the topics of Nārāyaṇī, and the glories of Nityananda. Maybe at the end of the reading, since we're going to have so much time left over, we could go through the first paragraph of all the chapters, the synopsis, like, yeah. And then we can just, yeah, remember the flow of all the pastimes that's happened up to this point so far. I think that's good to do every now and then, so that we have, just in your head, a good, whatever. Okay. Synopsis. Srila Bhakti-Vinod Puri Goswami also. This is more detailed. After awarding benediction to Sridhar, Mahaprabhu requested Advaita Acharya to ask for some benediction. Advaita, however, simply prayed to the Lord to award him his desired goal of life, but did not openly ask for any benediction. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu displayed the form of Sri Ram with his associates to Murari Gupta and reminded Murari of his previous identity. As Murari Gupta realized his own form as Hanuman, he fell unconscious to the ground. Later on, he regained his external consciousness by the words of the Lord and prayed for the benediction of being able to eternally serve Lord Chaitanya and his associates, remember the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, and sing the glories of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord awarded this benediction to Murari and declared that anyone who blasphemes Murari will not be delivered even if he takes millions of baths in the Ganga and chants the holy names of Hari. Thereafter, the Lord reveals the meaning of the name Murari Gupta, that Lord Murari secretly, Gupta Bhave, secretly sits within his heart, or always resides in his heart, maybe. Mahaprabhu then instructed Haridas to behold his form. Mahaprabhu declared that Haridas was more dear to him than his own self, and that he and Haridas belonged to the same family. They are the same family. Even though Haridas was born in a Muslim family, Mahaprabhu says, no, we are the same jati. On seeing the distress of Haridas, the Lord had descended from Vaikuntha with the Sudarshan chakra in his hand. But since Haridas desired auspiciousness even for his oppressors, the Sudarshan chakra desisted, and Mahaprabhu took the beating of Haridas on his own body. Yeah, the Sudarshan chakra was powerless because of Haridas Thakur's prayers to not, for the Lord not to harm these people and for their auspiciousness. After exhibiting those marks of torture on his own body, Mahaprabhu further said that he was unable to tolerate the distress of Haridas, so he incarnated immediately. Lord Kṛṣṇa, who is controlled by his devotees, does not know anything except his devotees. One who has no love for the holy names of Kṛṣṇa, who is so affectionate towards his devotees, that person is simply one who does not have any love for these holy names is simply suffering the results of his own misfortune. On hearing the topics of the Lord's unlimited mercy, Haridas fell unconscious to the ground. Although he regained his external consciousness by the words of the Lord, he became agitated and began to cry. Thus he could not see the form of the Lord. With great humility, Haridas offered prayers to Mahaprabhu and said that the most merciful Gaurasundar never abandons even an insect who remembers his lotus feet, but he destroys even an emperor who does not remember his lotus feet. In this regard, Haridas cited the examples of Draupadi, Prahlad, Yudhishthir, who feared the course of Durvasa, and Ajamil, and he thus established the supremacy of Gaurasundar's affection for his surrendered devotees. After expressing his total incompetence, Haridas simply prayed to the Lord that he may develop a taste for honoring the remnants of Lord Chaitanya's servants, that this may be his only form of worship, birth after birth, and that Mahaprabhu may keep him as a dog in the house of his devotee. Mahaprabhu, who constantly resides in the heart of Haridas, then awarded Haridas the benediction of pure devotional service devoid of offenses against Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, and declared, anyone who associates with Haridas for even a moment and has full faith in Haridas will certainly attain my lotus feet. It is taught in all the scriptures that by hearing the glories of the devotees, one attains devotional service to Kṛṣṇa. According to the opinion of some persons, Haridas is an incarnation of Brahma, and according to others, he is an incarnation of Prahlad. His association is desired by even Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and his touch is desired by even the Ganga. Moreover, simply by the darshan of Haridas, one's bondage of fruitive activities from time immemorial is at once severed. In order to establish the supremacy of the Vaishnavas occasionally manifest the pastime of taking birth in a low-class family. Mahaprabhu reminded Advaita, and we also read in, I think somewhere in the beginning, maybe it's in the second chapter. I think it was the second chapter, is talking about all the different places where the Vaishnavas took birth prior to Mahaprabhu's advent. And it says that the only reason they take birth, sometimes it was places that were like sinful places, and sinful families. And it gave the explanation that they also take birth in these families to purify the area that they take birth in, and also the family that they take birth in, to purify all the members, that even the previous generations, like the ancestors and everything. Mahaprabhu, but now we're hearing another reason, is to also show the supremacy of the Vaishnavas, to show their glories. So for all those reasons. Mahaprabhu reminded Advaita about his previous activities of explaining devotional service in every passage of the Bhagavad Gita, and then fasting on not finding the devotional meaning of some verse, seeing Mahaprabhu in his dream, and receiving the actual meaning of that verse and the instruction to break his fast. And just one thing on this point. Whenever we see something in the scriptures or in the words of our acharyas that we aren't able to reconcile, then we see from Advaita Acharya's example, Advaita Acharya, I mean, who has more knowledge than Advaita Acharya? He's Mahavishnu. And so we see, what does he do when he's not able to reconcile it? He doesn't think, oh, that must be wrong. Or, well, I don't agree with that. Or, no, that's not at all. And we see the same example in Vishwanath Chakravarti Ṭhākur when he was going through, he couldn't understand what the half syllable was in the Kam Gayatri. And he thought, well, if I'm not able to understand this Kam Gayatri and I'm not able to chant it properly with full understanding, then that means that I won't be able to attain the fruit of it. I won't get and if I'm not, and without realizing the Kam Gayatri, then I'll never attain the service of Radha and Krishna. So this life is useless. I might as well just die. And he was like resolved to give up his life just because he couldn't understand the half syllable in the Kam Gayatri. Like, well, why was it in Chaitanya Charitamrita that it mentions that the Kam Gayatri is this many syllables and this many and a half, and he couldn't figure out the half syllable. So that's the example that we have when we pray and when we are not able to understand something, not just think arrogantly like, oh, well, I don't agree, or, well, this must be wrong because it contradicts what this acharya said. And we see that happening lots of times, people, but anyways, okay, sorry. Okay. The Lord then revealed the proper meaning of the Bhagavad Gita verse beginning Sarvata Panipadam Tat. And if we do have this mood like Advaita Acharya had, then the Lord will reveal this. He'll have somebody explain it to us. In some way, the Lord will make us come to understand why. He'll be able to help us reconcile it. But it's not just by our own brain that we can always reconcile everything. Śrī Advaita Acharya, Chaitanya's covert disciple, said it was Lord Chaitanya's greatness that he is Advaita's worshipable Lord. Those who deny the supremacy of Lord Chaitanya and serve Advaita, the incarnation of Mahavishnu, by considering him the independent Lord, they are actually offenders at the feet of Advaita. Rather than being his servants and his worshippers, no, they are the offenders of Advaita Acharya. Their fate will certainly be like that of the 10-headed Ravan. Those who consider Advaita the foremost Vaiṣṇava and the servant of Lord Chaitanya, they are actual devotees of Advaita and are qualified to attain the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa. This is Advaita's own statement. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu awarded desired benedictions to the assembled devotees. Up to this point, Mukunda was standing outside. When Śrīvāsa begged the Lord to bestow mercy on Mukunda, Mahaprabhu informed him that Mukunda was unqualified to receive his darshan because Mukunda associated with other sampradayas and shared the sentiments of those sampradayas. His mind and devotional service were unsteady. Mahaprabhu said he was karta jatiya, because sometimes he held a karta in his teeth, and sometimes he beat with a stick with a jati, karta jatiya. To deny the supremacy of devotional service is like beating the Lord's body with a stick. On hearing this, Mukunda resolved to give up his body on that very day and requested Śrīvāsa to ask Mahaprabhu whether he would ever get his darshan. When Mukunda was informed that he would get the Lord's darshan after 10 million lifetimes, he forgot himself in ecstasy and began to dance. Then Mahaprabhu called him by his side and forgave all his offenses. Accepting his own defeat, the Lord said, I eternally reside on the tongue of Mukunda. Thereafter, Mukunda condemned himself for being devoid of devotional service and narrated the glories of devotional service and the formidable consequences of non-devotional life by citing his own example. Feeling embarrassed on seeing the repentant mood of Mukunda, Vishvambara glorified the supremacy of devotional service, declared that he is the only destroyer of one's fruit of bondage resulting from karma-khandha mentioned in the Vedas, described the misfortune of the non-devotee washerman of Mathura, and then awarded Mukunda the benediction that he would sing for the Lord in all his incarnations. Oh, Hari Bol Shubhananda Prabhu. Oh, and Shubhananda Prabhu, the meeting passcode now is 1921. That's the year my Gurudev appeared in this world. 1921. But I gave the link in the WhatsApp group. I think it should just work if you click on that link under the description. It was a long description today, so it was hidden. But if you click more, and then you'll see the Zoom link and the YouTube link, it should work. I changed the password after that time when all those people started Zoom bombing. Okay. 1921. Yeah, okay. Although Mahaprabhu regularly manifested various pastimes at the house of Śrīvāsa, the unfortunate fruit of workers, mental speculators, and sense enjoyers who were devoid of devotional service did not get the opportunity to see those pastimes. Only Lord Chaitanya's servants were qualified by the influence of their devotional service to see those pastimes. The prime example was the servants and maidservants of Śrīvāsa. The Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are eternal, and those who receive his mercy see them even today. By displaying his various forms according to the desires of his devotees, Mahaprabhu reveals that he is the source of all incarnations. Mahaprabhu then distributed the remnants of his flower garland and chewed betel nuts to the devotees. Nārāyaṇī, the niece of Śrīvāsa, this is what we're reading today. Nārāyaṇī, the niece of Śrīvāsa, received the last portion of the Lord's remnants. That is why Nārāyaṇī is famous in Vaiṣṇava society as the recipient of Mahaprabhu's remnants. What did we read in our Mangala Charan by the verses by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? I think he said, Chaitanyar Uchishta Bhajan, Nārāyaṇī, the recipient of Mahaprabhu's remnants. Even though she was only a young girl, by the order of the Lord, she cried in ecstatic love for Kṛṣṇa. Thereafter, the Lord concludes this chapter by singing the glories of Śrīman Nityānanda. All right, so we're going to 289. That's where we're reading today. All right. Let's go back just a few more verses. I'm not going to go back too far now. But this is really nice. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so many tapasvis, sannyasis, jnanis, and yogis lived in Navadvip. They studied or taught Bhagavad Gita and Śrīmad Bhagavatam for their whole lives, yet they did not change their religious practices. Some of them vowed not to accept anything from others and shriveled up their bodies by uselessly observing celibacy. Not one of those useless, proud persons could see that the happiness of Vaikuntha had manifested there. Although the Lord was seen by the servants and maidservants of Śrīvāsa, he could not be known by those persons. Sorry. Yeah. So, although the Lord was seen by the servants and maidservants of Śrīvāsa, he cannot be known by those persons that we just read about, like the tapasis and sannyasis and Navadip, despite their study of the scriptures. The mercy received by the servants of Murari Gupta could not be seen by shaving one's head. One cannot achieve the mercy of Lord Chaitanya by wealth, high birth, or scholarship, for the Lord is controlled only by bhakti. Only. Keval bhakti vash Chaitanya Goshai. By popular acclaim, one cannot achieve Śrī Caitanya. The four Vedas declare the Lord is controlled only by bhakti. Bhakti vash sabe Prabhu. Chari Vede bole. Such revelations took place in Navadvip, yet not one of the Bhattacharyas knew about this. There can never be any water in the miscreant's reservoir. Otherwise, how could a living entity be cheated out of seeing such revelations? Although the Vedas describe the Lord's appearance and disappearance, there is actually no end to his pastimes. I love this part. Lord Chaitanya performs these pastimes even today. Only when the Lord gives one the ability to see these pastimes can one see them. Others have no ability to see Lord Chaitanya's eternal pastimes. Even today, if one of his dear devotees intensely desires to see one of his particular pastimes, the merciful Lord immediately exhibits that pastime for him. That's from the Laghu Bhagavatamrita by Rupa Goswami, right? I think so. A devotee sees Lord Vishwambar according to the mantra he invokes while meditating on his worshipable Lord. In this way, he manifests himself and teaches all his devotees, and they, in turn, teach these topics to others. Now, Mahāprabhu says, you have my association birth after birth. Even all your servants will see my pastimes. Thereafter, the Lord gave his garland and betel remnants to everyone. Okay, so that's where that was the previous few verses that we read at the end of our reading yesterday. Okay. Now. Haribol Shubhananda Prabhu. Okay. Mahanande khai shabe harashita hoya koti chandra sharada mukher dravya paya. After receiving remnants from the mouth of the Lord, whose face resembled millions of autumn moons, all the devotees ate them in great ecstasy. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Since Mahaprabhu is the object of worship, he is qualified to accept various ingredients of enjoyment like sandalwood pulp, betel nuts, and garlands. All ingredients of enjoyment are meant for his service alone. The devotees can accept the remnants of garlands, sandalwood pulp, and other items that are first offered to the Lord. While accepting the Lord's remnants, such as betel nuts, which are ingredients of his enjoyment, the service propensity of the living entity is enhanced. If while accepting such remnants of the Lord, a living entity becomes happy, thinking, the Lord has enjoyed these items, then his happiness derived from material enjoyment is vanquished. So whenever we're taking prasad, we always think that the Lord enjoyed this, and I'm getting to taste what the Lord enjoyed. Not like, oh, that's look great. Oh, no, we have to have that kind of mood. And then if we have that kind of mood, then like we hear in Sharira Vijajal Jadendriya, then all those things will take place. Otherwise, but if we don't have that mood, then it's not going to, vanquish our desire for enjoyment. It'll just increase it. If a conditioned soul under the pretext of service accepts those ingredients of enjoyment in order to fulfill his desire for material enjoyment, then he invites inauspiciousness. Bhojaner avashesh jateka achilo Nārāyaṇī punyavati taha she pailo. The fortunate Nārāyaṇī, the author of this book, Vrindavan Das Ṭhākur, so the fortunate Nārāyaṇī received the remnants left after the Lord finished eating. Bhojaner avashish jotek achilo, whatever was left over. Nārāyaṇī punyavati, the most fortunate, the most auspicious, punya is like pure, right? And auspicious. Taha she payalo, she received that, those remnants. Śrīvāsa bhratrisutta, sorry. Oops, one second, that's supposed to be a space. Śrīvāsa bhratrisutta balika agyan, tahare bhojan shesh prabhu kore dan. The innocent young girl, Nārāyaṇī, was the daughter of Śrīvāsa's brother. The Lord gave her his remnants. Parama anande khai prabhura prasad, sakala shakal Vaiṣṇava tare kore ashirvad. All the Vaishnavas blessed her as she joyfully ate the Lord's remnants. Dhanya dhanya she vilo Narayan, balika swabhave dhanya ihar jivan. She is indeed glorious because she engaged in Narayan's service. Although she was a child, her life became glorious. This is Vrindavan Das Ṭhākur talking about his own mother. Kaile Prabhur Agya Hoy Nārāyaṇī, Krishner Paramanande Kando Dekhi Shuni. After she ate the Lord's remnants, the Lord ordered her, O Nārāyaṇī, let me hear you cry in ecstasy for Kṛṣṇa. Heno Prabhu Chaitanyar Agyar Prabhav, Kṛṣṇa boli kande ati balika swabhav. Lord Chaitanya's order has such potency that the innocent young girl began to cry while calling out the name of Kṛṣṇa. Adyapiha Vaiṣṇava mandale e dhvani, Gauranger avashesh patra Nārāyaṇī. Even today, it is well known in Vaishnava society that Nārāyaṇī was the recipient of Gauranga's remnants. Avashesha patra Nārāyaṇī. Avashesh means remnants. Patra means the, like patra, receptacle, the recipient. Nārāyaṇī. Gaudiya Bhāṣyam. In the course of narrating topics concerning his mother, the author describes the past incident of how his mother received the Lord's remnants. Jare jeno agya kore Ṭhākur Caitanya, she ashiya avilambe hoy upasanna. Whoever was called by Lord Chaitanya immediately came before him. Gaudiya Bhāṣya. The word upasanna means to come near or to be present. Esha bachane jar nahi ko pratita, sadya adapatar jani ho nishchita. Know for certain that one who does not believe these topics will inevitably fall down. Advaitera priya Prabhu Chaitanya Ṭhākur, ite advaiter boro mahima prachur. Lord Chaitanya is the dear Lord of Advaita. This increases Advaita's glories. Chaitanya priya ati Ṭhākur nitai, eshe mahimatana chari vede gai. Lord Nityananda is very dear to Lord Chaitanya. Therefore, the four Vedas sing his glories. Chaitanya bhakta hena nahi jar naam, jadi sevya vastu tabu triner saman. If a person is not recognized as a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, then even if he is exalted, he is no better than a straw. Gaudiya Bhāṣya. If a person is bereft of Lord Chaitanya's service, he can never command respect, no matter how great he may be. Only devotees of Śrī Caitanya are most respectable, no matter how disrespectable they may be in this world. Wow, let's just reread that because that's important. If a person is not recognized as a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, then even if he is exalted, he's no better than straw. Dushava Gatinam, right? That's like the Prinera Saman. Only devotees of Śrī Caitanya are most respectable, no matter how disrespectable they may be in this world. That's Srila Saraswati Ṭhākur Prabhupada. Nityananda kohe mui Chaitanya das, aharnisha ar Prabhu na kore prakash. Nityananda declared, I am the servant of Lord Chaitanya. Day or night, he did not say anything to the contrary. Haribol Sudevi Didi. Bodhiyabhashya. In the constitutional identification of Nityananda, nothing other than service was manifest. Yeah, and Nityananda is like the prime, Nityananda Balaram, he's the prime servitor of the Lord. Like Krishna and him are non-different. The only difference is that he serves Krishna. Like he is the ultimate proprietor of the Lord's service. And so it's through Nityananda's mercy that we have any chance of serving Krishna. That's why he's Akhanda Guru Tattva. That's why Narottam Das Thakur says, Nitayar Karuna Habe Raja Rad. Heno Nitai Vinay Bhai Radha Krishna Paitena. It's impossible, completely impossible to attain Radha and Krishna without the mercy of Nityananda, and Nitayar Karuna Habe Raja Radha Krishna Paitena. By Nityananda's mercy, that one gets Radha and Krishna. Yeah. And we see even at the very top of creation in Vrindavan, he manifests as the Lord's abode. And at the very, very, very bottom, as Ananta Shesh, he holds all the universes. So from the very top to the very bottom, in every form of the Lord, he is the main servitor. Tahana kripai hoy chaitanya te rati, nityananda bhojile apar nahi koti. By his mercy, one attains attachment for Lord Chaitanya. Simply by worshipping Lord Nityananda, one will not face danger anywhere. Wow. By worshipping Nityananda, one will not face danger anywhere. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word koti means anywhere. Amar Prabhur Prabhu Gauranga Sundar, E boro bharasat chitte dhori nirantar. Shri Gaur Sundar is the Lord of my Lord. I always keep this conviction in my heart. Isn't that beautiful? He's my Prabhu's Prabhu. Amar Prabhur Prabhu. Gauranga Sundar. That's how he sees Gaur Sundar. He sees them as the Lord of his own Lord, Nityananda. Doesn't see him directly as Mahāprabhu is my Lord. No, Mahāprabhu is the Lord of my Lord. Dharani Dharendra Nityananda Charan, Deho Prabhu Gaura Chandra Amare Sharan. O Lord Gaurachandra, please allow me to serve the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, who, as Ananta Shesh, holds all the universes on his heads. So we could also pray to the Lord that, please allow me to serve the lotus feet of my Gurudev. We actually read that, right? When all the devotees were asking for benedictions. Some of the devotees were asking, please, may I have Guru Bhakti, right? May I have devotion for my Guru. Gaudiya Bhashya. Sheshashai Balaram is the plenary portion of Śrī Nityananda Balaram. Balarama Prite Gai Chaitanya Charita, Kore Balarama Prabhu Jagate Rahita. I sing the glories of Lord Chaitanya for the pleasure of Balaram. Lord Balaram is always engaged in the welfare of the world. Chaitanya Dasya Boy Nityananda Nitai na jane, Chaitanya Dasya Nityananda Kore dane. Nitai does not know anything other than the service of Lord Chaitanya. He always distributes the service of Lord Chaitanya to others. He's always distributing the service of Lord Chaitanya to others. Nityananda Kripai She Gora Chandra Chini, Nityananda prasade she bhakti tattva jani. By the mercy of Nityananda, one can know Gaurachandra and understand the science of devotional service, bhakti tattva. Sarva Vaishnaver Priya Nityananda Rai, Shabe Nityananda Sthane Bhakti Pada Pai. Lord Nityananda is dear to all the Vaishnavas, for they achieve the platform of devotional service by his mercy alone. And I remember hearing that even like in one sense, you can't even Lalita and Vishaka and like personalities like that, Radha and Krishna's own associate, they can't give the service of Radha and Krishna without Nityananda, without Balaram. And like because it's Nityananda is the Sandhini Shakti. And Sandhini Shakti, he's the Adhar Shakti, he's like the receptacle by which Sambit and Hladini can, like can manifest. So without that Sandhini Shakti within our heart, then there's no possible way for Hladini and Sambit to come there. That's what we hear in that verse. What is it? Prema Suryang Susamyabhak. What is that verse? Anyways, that Sambit and Hladini, what is it? They enter on the platform of Sandhini. So yeah, Nityananda is 100% can't, there's no other way. Kono pake jadi kore Nityananda hela, apane Chaitanya bole she jana gela. If a person somehow or other disrespects Nityananda, then Lord Chaitanya himself declares, She jana gela. That person is gone. He's ruined. Gaudiya Bhashya. If due to his misfortune, an unfortunate person neglects Nityananda Prabhu, then according to Śrī Caitanya-dev, he has invited his own ruination. Adi Deva Mahayogi Ishwar Vaiṣṇava Mahimar Anta Iha Na Janai Sabo. Even the original Lord, great yogi, controller, and topmost Vaishnava, does not know the limit of Nityananda's glories. Adidev. Adidev, Mahayogi, Ishwar, Vaishnava. They do not know the limit of Nityananda's glories. Okay, let's see what that means. Gaudiya Bhashya. Although Mahayogi Adidev Mahadev, Shiva, he is a Vaishnav, even Shiva, the topmost Vaishnav, right? Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. So even Shiva, he does not fully know the confidential glories of Balaram. Some people say this verse means that not everyone knows the limit of the foremost Vaishnav Mahadev's glories. Otherwise, Lord Nityananda himself is the original source of the Vaibhav Tattva, or the pastime incarnations. Therefore, he is Adidev, the original Lord. Since he is engaged in the service of Krishna in 10 different forms and does not engage in any other activities, he is known as supremely self-controlled. Since he is the source of Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, and Kshiradakshay Vishnu, he is the supreme controller. Since he is a devotee of Krishna, he is a Vaishnav. No one is able to understand the ultimate limit of Nityananda's glories. We keep on reading how he's serving in these 10 different ways, in 10 different forms. Probably good to memorize them, isn't it? I have it here, right here. Let me just read them because I'll stop sharing my screen for a second though, because I sent it to Manjari Didi. She was asking for it, and I don't know what other messages are there. 1 second, let me. Okay, so these are the forms that he's serving. Umbrella, slippers, bedding, pillow, garments, resting chair, residence, sacred thread, and throne. Wait, that was 9. Anyways, we can look at that again. Yeah. I'm just seeing the comments here. Remember in Navadip Mahatma, how Lord Shiva saw Nitai. God, I have something stuck in my throat. Remember in Navadip Mahatma, how Lord Shiva saw Nitai and offered pranams. Yes. Oh, there's Manjari Didi. Haribol Manjari and Nitai. And Vidyalala Sadidi. Hare Krishna. Yeah, sharing my screen again. Okay. Kahare na kore ninda Krishna Krishna bole Ajay Chaitanya she Jini beka hele. One who one who chants the names of Krishna without blaspheming anyone will easily conquer the unconquerable Lord Chaitanya. It's as easy as that. All we have to do is not blaspheme anyone and chant the names of Krishna. Then we can conquer the unconquerable Lord Chaitanya. All of our problems are because of our ninda right here, so of our criticism and envy and all these things towards other devotees. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Caitanya-dev is unattainable through the material knowledge of proud, bewildered living entities. One who constantly chants the name of Krishna without offending others can easily control the unconquerable Śrī Caitanya-dev with his love. In the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 10.14.3, it is stated, Gyane prayasam udapasya namanta eva jivanti sammukaritam bhavadhiya vartam sthane stita shruti-gatam tanuvang manobhir ye prayasho jita jito pyasita istrilokyam. Those who, even while remaining situated in their established social positions, throw away the process of speculative knowledge and, with their body, words, and minds, offer all respects to descriptions of your personality and activities, dedicating their lives to these narrations, which are vibrated by you personally and by your pure devotees, that person will certainly conquer your lordship, although you are otherwise unconquerable by anyone within the three worlds. Nindai nahi ko labhya sarva shastre koi, sabar samman bhagavata dharma hoy. All the scriptures declare, nothing is achieved through blasphemy. Bhagavat Dharma teaches one to offer respects to others. Gaudiya Bhashya. It is not proper to criticize others in order to establish one's supremacy out of false ego. While disrespecting others, an offender falls down from Bhagavat Dharma. The regulation for offering respects to everyone, including dogs, cows, asses, and dog eaters, has been described by Sri Gaurasundar in his Amanina Manadena verse. Wow. What to speak of offering respects to Vaishnavas? We should even offer respects to the dogs, cows, asses, and dog eaters. Krishna is in all of their hearts. They are servants of Krishna. We should offer pranam to them, understanding this. Ultimately, everybody is a servant of Krishna. And all the crap that people have on them, whatever they've done, that's just a temporary thing that's going to go away someday. And they'll be at one point that everybody's going to be established in that position. So who cares about whatever temporary filth somebody has? It's temporary. Text 314. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha jeno amriter khanda mahanimba heno vase jatika pashanda. The topics of Madhya-khaṇḍa are just like nectar, yet the atheists consider them as bitter as nimba. Gaudiya Bhashya. The topics of Śrī Caitanya's middle pastimes, the Madhya-khaṇḍa, are like nectar. But those foolish persons who consider the demigods empowered by the Supreme Lord as equal to the Lord, they consider this nectar as more bitter than nimba. It's neem. Keho jeno Sharkarai nimba swadu pai, tar daiva sharkarar swadu nahi jai. E mata Chaitanyer parananda jash, shunite na pai sukh hoy daiva vash. If someone considers the taste of sugar candy to be bitter, that is his misfortune. It's not the fault of the sugar, it's his misfortune. For sugar candy never loses its sweetness. In the same way, one does not feel in the same way, one does not feel happy hearing the blissful glories of Lord Chaitanya only due to misfortune. Gaudiya Bhashya. Due to his own misfortune, a person accepts a sweet object to be bitter. As a result of the unwanted conception that is awakened due to his misfortune, the actual sweet taste is lost. Unfortunate persons do not obtain any happiness while hearing the transcendently blissful glories of Lord Chaitanya. And that is the real result of Vaiṣṇava Parad. Like, it's not a big deal if you have to suffer lifetime after lifetime torture and all these things. That's not a big deal. A big deal is if you're receiving these topmost things, like all this nectar, and it tastes bitter to you. That is a result of Vaiṣṇava Parad, is that you won't feel any attraction for Harinam. When you chant Harinam, it will be completely dry and tasteless. When you do any of these devotional activities, you won't have any access to it. That is the result of Vaiṣṇava Parad. That's the worst thing that could ever happen to us, is that we aren't able to ever get any taste or any kind of juice of. Sannyasi o jadi nahi mane gora chandra, jani ho she khala jan, janma janma andha. Know that if even a sannyasi does not accept Gaurachandra, then that crooked person remains blind birth after birth. Gaudiya Bhashya. If even a sannyasi situated on the topmost platform of ashram dharma blasphemes Gaurachandra by finding fault in him, then as a result of losing his vision, such an offender remains blind birth after birth. Duplicity and envy obstruct his real vision. Matra jadi bole Chaitanyer naam, she satya jaibek Chaitanyer dham. If even a bird chants Lord Chaitanya's name, it will certainly attain Lord Chaitanya's abode. I think that's so cool. Gaudiya Bhashya. If birds who are devoid of knowledge of their relationship with the Lord imitate the sound, Śrī Caitanya, Śrī Caitanya, and after attaining real knowledge in a future life, they will achieve the abode of Śrī Caitanya Dev. Animals, birds, trees, creepers, and ignorant people in Śrī Dham Mayapur attain good fortune by hearing the topics of Śrī Caitanya Dev. There's a lot of really sweet videos of parrots singing Maha Mantra and saying Haribol, Haribol. Yeah. So those are very fortunate birds, though. We get to. And when it says this kind of thing, that they will attain Lord Chaitanya's abode, it doesn't mean that right then, because the bird chanted Chaitanya's name without offense. So it means that they will maybe in the next life, they'll have the fortune of being born taking a human birth and then coming in contact with the devotees and then starting the process. So they get sukriti through that, by which they'll be able to eventually come to the devotees and receive this and start the process of bhakti. And when you're looking at billions, unlimited lifetimes, even 100 lifetimes is like that when you're looking from a cosmic scale of like time. So yeah, very quickly they'll attain Lord Chaitanya's abode. Jai Gaurachandra Nityanander Jivan, Tor Nityananda Mor Ho Pranadhan. think it's so interesting. He says Tor Nityananda, not Tomar Nityananda. So it's like the very, very intimate form. Oh Lord, Tor Nityananda. Mui ho pranadhan. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, who is the life of Nityananda. May your Nityananda be my life and wealth. Jar jar shange tumi korila bihar, sheshav goshtir paye more namaskar. I offer my respectful obeisances at the feet of those with whom you enjoyed pastimes. Gaudiya Bhashya. O Gaurachandra, I offer my obeisances at the lotus feet of those Vaishnavas who attained the happiness of your association and who have become glorious by engaging in your service. Śrī Kṛṣṇa Caitanya-Nityananda Chanda Jan, Vrindavana dāsa Tachupada Juge Gan. Accepting Śrī Caitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends this English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Madhya-khaṇḍa chapter 10, entitled Conclusion of the Lord's Mahaprakash Pastimes. Jai Shri Chaitanya Nityananda ki Jai. All the associates of Gaur Hari ki Jai. All the devotees, of Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Das Ṭhākur ki Jai. Shri Nārāyaṇī Devi ki Jai. What is it? Avashesh Patra Nārāyaṇī ki Jai. All right, so we will now, because we didn't get a chance to read about Lochan Das Ṭhākur yesterday, but at least we made a resolve that we're going to read about him the next day, so I think it's okay. We'll read about him now from this beautiful book by Śrīla Bhakti Bhagavata. This beautiful book by Śrīla Bhakti Bhagavata Goswami Maharaj, Śrī Caitanya and his associates. I'll put it up on the screen. Also, if anybody wants to get this book on their Kindle, it's now available on Amazon store, the new version also. So it's all been updated. It's a much more accurate translation of, yeah. This is the original book in Bengali, and then it was revised, and it's much more, much better, this new version, than the previous big version. Okay. Haripriya Didi is uluing. Okay. Okay, there it is. Let's find Lochan Das Ṭhākur. Actually, I could just type in Lochan and it'll come up. Let me do that. Skips past it. Lochan. There he is. Okay. Śrī Lochan Das Ṭhākur. Lochan Das Ṭhākur appeared in 1523 in Kogram, in the Katwa block of the Burdwan district. This village is about 10 miles north of Guskar train station. The Ṭhākur's home is situated near the Ajay River. His birth tithi is given by some as the first day of the fortnight of the waxing moon in Posha. He was born in the Arar clan of the physician caste, the Vaidya caste. His father's name was Kamalakar Das. His mother's name is Sadanandi. He was a very affectionate and lone child of the couple. Lochan Das studied while at his maternal grandfather's house. He displayed devotion for Mahaprabhu from his childhood. Lochan Das was married at a very young age, according to the customs of that time. Since he had been married so young, his wife first remained with her parents in the village of Ahmedpur, Kolkata. As he grew older, Lochan Das showed a highly renounced attitude to life and spent all his time discussing Kṛṣṇa Katha with other devotees of Gauranga. As the time approached when his wife was to join him, the girl's parents began to worry because of Lochan Das's indifference to material life. They approached his guru, Nārāyaṇī Sarkar, and told him of their disquiet, a feeling of worry or unease. As a result, Nārāyaṇī Sarkar ordered Lochan Das to go to his in-laws' home. When Lochan Das arrived in Ahmedpur, he was unable to remember where their house was, since it had been so long since he had visited. He asked a young girl in the street for directions, addressing her as Ma, or mother. When he arrived at his in-laws' house, he found out that the girl whom he had addressed as his mother was in fact his wife. I feel kind of bad for the girl. From that day on, he always looked upon his wife as a mother, worshipping Guru and Gauranga in an attitude of renunciation. Wow. Okay. The Chaitanya Mangal. Nārāyaṇī Sarkar Ṭhākur, Mahaprabhu's, actually the girl is very fortunate to have a husband like Lochan Das Ṭhākur, a pure devotee. That's okay. The Chaitanya Mangal. Nārāyaṇī Sarkar Ṭhākur, Mahaprabhu's famous associate from Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata, was very affectionate to Lochan Das and gave him initiation. Lochan Das Ṭhākur enthusiastically took up residence with his guru in Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and served him. His guru taught him about kirtan and later ordered him to write Mahaprabhu's sacred biography. Lochan Das took this order seriously and wrote the Chaitanya Mangal, the events of which are based on Murarigupta's Chaitanya Charita. The word Mangal means auspicious, and this title reflects the fact that hearing Mahaprabhu Śrī Chaitanya's divine pastimes is the most auspicious activity for all the living beings. Vrindavan Das Thakur's biography of the Lord was first named Chaitanya Mangal and was only later known as Caitanya-bhāgavata. Lochan Das gives an indication of this in the introductory portion of his book. He says, I attentively pay my obeisances to Vrindavan Das Thakur. His Bhagavat's songs have enchanted the entire universe. That's from Chaitanya Mangal, Sutra Khanda 135. I wonder if Lochan Das Thakur and Vrindavan Das Thakur are like of the same, like if they're the same generation, same age. Bet that would be not too difficult because they're seems like they're at the same time. Maybe Vrindavan Das Thakur is older though. I don't know. I have to look that up. Some people believe that Lochan Das Thakur and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gave the name Caitanya-bhāgavata to Vrindavan Das Thakur's book. In the Chaitanya Mangal, Lochan Das prays for his guru's blessings as follows. He says, Nārāyaṇī Das Thakur is the proprietor of my life, and out of the hope of attaining his lotus feet, I desire to sing the glories of Gauranga, even though I am the lowest of the low. This is my ambition. It's Chaitanya Mangal, Sutra Khanda 1.9. He says, I offer my reverences to Nārāyaṇī Das, the ocean of Gauranga's qualities. Other than him, I have no friend in the three worlds. It's also, that's verse 33 from the same spot. Sutra Khanda, Chaitanya Mangal. I'm just going to read the verse number. My Lord and Master is Nārāyaṇī Das. I prostrate myself in humility to him. May he fulfill my desires. Verse 61. Lochan Das Thakur wrote the Chaitanya Mangal in Eastern Bengal's Panchali style, completing it in 1537 AD. There is a legend that he wrote the book while sitting on a stone under a flower tree. In his new Bengali dictionary, Ashutosh Dev has underlined Lochan Dasa's contribution by stating that he was the first to write Bengali poetry using vowel-marked meters, as well as being one of Bengal's earliest historical writers. What's vowel-marked letters, meters? Oh, does that mean like Sanskrit is like it's in a certain arrangement of long and short syllables? And it's something like that? Vowel-marked meters? I don't know. I don't actually understand what that means. The original, I can probably look this up though. If anyways. The original manuscript of the Caitanya-bhāgavata is said to be found in the personal library of Pran Kṛṣṇa Chakravarti of Kandra, near the Guskar train station. Other titles attributed to Lochan Das are Prarthana, Durlabhasar, Padavali. It's usually called Dhamali. If you see the Bengali books, it usually says Dhamali. And Bengali verse translations of Ramananda's Jagannath Vallabh Natak and the Ras Panchadhyaya of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Oh, wow. Very neat. Lochan Dasa's songs glorifying Nityananda. In Chaitanya Mangal, Lochan Das Ṭhākur describes his guru, Narahari Sarkar Ṭhākur, as Mahaprabhu's dearest associate. He does not describe Nityananda Prabhu's glories as extensively. He just says that he's Mahaprabhu's dearest associate, but it's not extensive, his mention of Nityananda Prabhu in Chaitanya Mangal. Fearful that he may have committed an offense by neglecting Nityananda Prabhu, he later wrote a few songs in his praise. These songs are particularly well appreciated by the devotees. They're some of the main songs that we sing for Nityananda Prabhu, aren't they? Okay, let's sing this. Maybe I'll get the mridanga. 1 second. And I have to turn off noise suppression. Give me 1 second. Okay. We'll just sing it together though. Nitai gunamani amar, Nitai gunamani, Aniya premera banya, Bhashailo abani, O premer banya loya nitai, O aila gora deshe, Dubilo bhakata gana, Dinahina bhashe, O dinahina patita pamara nahi bache, O pramara durlabha prem sabakare jache, abhada karuna sindhu nitai katiya mohan, ghare ghare bole prem amiyarabana, Lochan bole mor nitai jebana bhajilo, Janiya shuniya she, Atma ghati hoilo. Nitai is a jewel of virtue. My Nitai is a jewel of virtue. He brought the deluge of love of God and flooded the world. Nitai brought the deluge of love of God to Goradesh and inundated the devotees. The lowly and deprived floated in the flood. Nitai never excluded the lowly and deprived, nor the sinful and atheistic. He freely distributed love of God, which is beyond the reach of even Brahma. Nitai released the floodgates that held back the ocean of compassion, going from door to door to give everyone the nectar of the love of God. Locana says that anyone who has not worshipped Nitai has knowingly committed suicide. I like that translation. Okay, now, Akroda Paramananda. Wow, today's just a lot of Nityananda Katha, right? We ended our reading with that, and now Locana Thakur's. Let's do a different. Akroda Paramananda Nityananda Rai Abhimana Shunya Nitai Nagare Bedai Ayadama Patita Jive Dware Dware Giya Hari Nama Maha Mantra Din Bilaiya Jare Deke Tare Kohe Dante Trina Kori Amare Ki Niyalo Bhaja Gora Hari Ayeta Boli Nityananda Bhume Gori Jai O Shonar Parvata Jeno Dhulate Lotai Heno Yavatare Jarati Na Janilo Lochan Bole She Papi Elo Argelo. We read what was it? Mahāprabhu said that She Gelo. he's gone. He goes. He's destroyed. Elo Argelo is come and go. And you can notice that there are slight differences in different places. Like I noticed I actually got all the different like Gaudiya Math songbooks, and lots of times there'd be tiny differences. Like in our songbook we say Harinam Mahamantra Ditchen Bilaya, but here it's Den Bilaya. That's how it is in the Chaitanya Gaudiya Math songbook. And instead of Amare Kiniya Loho Bhaja Gora Hari, in our songbook it says Bolo Gora, and the Gaudiya Giti Gosha it says Bolo Gora Hari. But yeah, that's very common because in those days everything was just written by hand, and it wasn't like, and so you always see slight differences like that, but nothing too substantial. Completely free from anger, and you can't really tell what the original one is unless you like are able to find the original manuscripts. And even then, usually manuscripts are copied down by hand, and it could always get lost and changed and all that. So. Okay, completely free from anger. Lord Nityananda Prabhu is the embodiment of supreme joy. He wanders throughout the town without any pride or arrogance. He knocks on every fallen soul's door and bestows the Maha Mantra of the holy names on him. Placing a straw between his teeth, he says to everyone he sees, "Worship Gaur Hari, and you will purchase me and make me your slave. Make me your servant." Saying thus, he tumbles on the ground in an ecstatic fit, looking like a golden mountain rolling in the dust. Whoever lacks faith in such a compassionate avatar is a sinner who will die having made nothing of his life, says Locana. Elo Argelo. He comes and goes in the cycle again and again and again without any purpose. Just another useless birth. Okay. Parama karuna pahudui jan nitai gora chandra sabhayavatar sara shiromani Kevalayananda Kanda Nitai Gaura Chandra. These two lords, Nitai and Gaura Chandra, are most compassionate. They are the essence of all other avatars of Godhead. They are the most perfect, for they are the unique source of joy. O bhajo bhajo bhai Chaitanya Nitai, Sudrida Vishvasa Kori, Vishaya Chariya Shera Se Mojiya, Mukhe Bolo Hari Hari. Oh brothers, worship Chaitanya and Nitai with great faith. Give up the objects of sense gratification, absorb yourself in the flavors of their divine mood, and use your tongue to sing the names of Hari. O dekho ore bhai, tribhuvane nai, emona doyala data. O pashu pakhi jhure, o pashana bithare, shuni jar guna gata, emona doyala data. Just look, O my brothers, there is no more compassionate benefactor than Gaur Nitai anywhere in the three worlds. Even the birds and beasts shed tears in ecstasy, and stones melt when they hear their virtues. Sangsare majiya, rohili poriya, she pade nahi lo asha. Ayapana karama, o punjaye shaman, kohoye lo chandas, kohoye lo chanadas. I have fallen into the worldly life, completely absorbed in mundane pursuits, and have never aspired to attaining them. The God of judgment, that's Yamaraj Maharaj, the God of judgment is making me suffer the consequences of my acts. So sings Lochan Das. It's interesting I translated that in the first person. It says Rohili, not Rohilam. Anyways, interesting. Srila Lochan Das Ṭhākur was present on the occasion of Sri Narahari Sarkar Thakur's disappearance festival. In Bhakti Ratnakar, it is said that he came there with Yadunandan Ṭhākur, bringing garlands of flowers and sweet-scented sandalwood. Okay, 1 second. I'm just going to put down the mridanga. Okay, so you know the whole Gauranga Nagari Vad, that's all coming from, not from Narahari Sarkar Thakur, but from some of those in, like some not very bona fide branch coming from Narahari Sarkar Thakur. So we're going to read about that now. They believe that Mahāprabhu is like Kṛṣṇa and performs Ras Leela and stuff like that. They worship Mahāprabhu just like Kṛṣṇa, not as being the devotee of Kṛṣṇa and like that. I mean, not you understand, whatever, I don't need to talk so much. Okay, followers of certain heterodox groups or Appasampradayas say that the Gaur Nagar doctrine is found in the Chaitanya Mangal. This is not true. Vrindavan Das Ṭhākur writes in his Caitanya-bhāgavata, no one should praise the Lord by calling him the golden playboy. The golden playboy. I remember we read this part where Vrindavan Das Ṭhākur was shutting down Gauranga Nagari Vad. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Ṭhākur Prabhupada comments, Gaura Sundar is Kṛṣṇa, who has been endowed with Radha's bodily hue and her mood of love. Thus, he never abandons the qualities of the heart of Radhika and the other gopis, i.e., the character of the ashraya of devotion in the conjugal mood. This means that he never acts like the Vishai, like the object, or bhokta, enjoyer, of madhur ras, by looking at other women in the spirit of a playboy. That's Gaudiya Bhashya Adi-khaṇḍa, chapter 15, verse 30. Locana Das Ṭhākur ended his pastimes in this world in 1589 AD. His brick samadhi is seen at his Sripat. Jai Srila Locana Das Ṭhākur ki Jai. All right, it is 8:28. We are finishing at a good time. Let's do a quick Mahamantra and then Kishore can do Jai-dhvani. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Okay, Kishore Prabhu.
I sent a picture of Locana Das Ṭhākur.
Oh, let me share it on the screen. 1 second. You sent it to my WhatsApp, right? Let's find it. There. Okay, wow. There is Locana. Let me download it so you can make it big. So I can make it big. Save the downloads. 1 second. There. Oh, it's a small picture. Anyways, there's Locana Das Ṭhākur. Hari Bol. Jai Locana Das Ṭhākur ki Jai. Alright, Kishore, you can do Jai-dhvani.
Jai Nitai. Jai Sabrikar Shishi Gurgauranga Gan Harvika Gedidhari Radha Vinor Vihari Radha Nainath Radha Raman Vihari Radha Marva Shishi Radha Vallabh Jiu ki Jai Shri Govind Gopinath Madan Mahan Jiu ki Jai Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Paramaham Sabri Vraj Gachare Varyastotrashta Shishaman Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Guru Maharaj ki Jai Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Paramaham Sabri Vraj Gachare Varyastotrashta Shishaman Bhakti Vigyan Nārāyaṇī Goswami Maharaj Parit Pavan Shrila Gurudev ki Jai Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Stotrashta Shishaman Bhakti Balab Tirtha Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Stotrashta Shishaman Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Stotrashta Shishaman Bhakti Vedanta Vikram Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Shila Bhakti Sarup Damdar Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Shila Gaur Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Shila Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Shila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Shila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Stotrashta Shishaman Bhaktivedanta Swami Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Stotrashta Shishaman Bhakti Dvait Madhu Goswami Param Guru Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Stotrashta Shishaman Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Param Gurudev ki Jai Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Stotrashta Shishaman Jagar Guru Shevar Shabana Vidvait Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Ṭhākur Prabhupada ki Jai Swaparikar Shila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Ṭhākur ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Mahaparam Bhagavad Parvar Paramahamsa Stotrashta Shishman Gaur Kishotas Pavshi Maharaj ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Suptam Goswami Stotrashta Shishman Sachidanand Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākur Mahashai ki Jai Natyale Lapar Vishnu Par Vaishnava Sarvoma Ashtotrashta Shishimad Jagannath Das Pavshi Maharaj ki Jai Surya Kandavasi Siddha Shilam Marisun Das Pavshi Maharaj ki Jai Shri Urvaras Udaran Das ki Jai Urviran Acharya Shishila Baladev Vibhushan Prabhu ki Jai Mahamukhavadhyaya Rasikashirmane Shila Vishwanath Chakravarti Ṭhākur Pad ki Jai Jai Shila Rasikanand Murari Prabhu ki Jai जय श्री रामचंद्र कविराज की जय जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय जय श्री नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभु त्राय की जय। श्री नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभु त्राय की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण सुखराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। जय श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। जय श्री अष्टक विराज सुरजान नित्यानंद द्वर्ष गोपाल श्री चौषति महंत की जय। जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टराज सुरगुनाथ सर्गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर यनमंद लोकनाथ गर्भ आदि गौर परिषाद वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य शील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री नारायणी की जय। जय श्रील ईश्वरपुरी गोस्वामी पाद की जय। जय श्री माधवेंद्रपुरी गोस्वामी पाद की जय। जय श्री अंतरदीप मायपुर सुमनदीप गौद्रमदीप मध्यदीप गौलदीप केतुदीप जानुदीप मातृद्रुमादीप रुद्रदीप मात्मक श्री नावद्वीप धाम की जय। श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय। श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय। श्री गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री गौर नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। श्री श्री गौर गदाधर जीव की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ गोपी कपा गौ गिर गोवर्धन वृषभ वनात्मक श्री ब्रजमंद धाम की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंगा सखी आमन सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधारानी ठाकुरानी की जय। श्री ललिता विशाख चित्र चंपकलता तुंग विद्या इंदुलेखरंगरे विसुदेवी अरिसख्य वृंद की जय। श्री अनंग प्रेम मंजलाल शिरोपलमंका राघविलस गणरति कस्तूरी कमल नयन मणि अरिमंजारी वृंद की जय। श्रीमती वृंद देव की जय। श्री भगवती पूर्णमास योगमाय देवी की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर सरशिव महादेव की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर सरशिव महादेव की जय। जय राधा परमकित धाम श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमाधव जीव की जय। जय श्री तत्व गोपीनाथ की जय। जय श्री सर्वकुल की जय। श्री नमचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर समाधि मंदिर की जय। जय श्री प्रभुपाद आविर्भाव स्थली की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय। जय सर्वा विक्रामिनाशन पुरी भक्त विक्रामिनाश शरेंद्र सिंह देव की जय। भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मीन्द्र सिंह देव की जय। श्री छरि राम छरि संप्रदाय छरि आचार्य की जय। श्री मध्वा रमनुजा विष्णु स्वामी निम्बत्याचार्य आचार्य की जय। आकर मतरा श्री चैतन्य मात की जय। श्री गौरी मात वृंद की जय। अनंतरा श्रीमाद भगवताम भगवद्गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत जैव धर्म हरि सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। श्री चैतन्य मंगल की जय। श्री चैतन्य मंगल की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य मंगल की जय। जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन धर्म की जय। जय त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलयुग तरक ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम मन राम हरे हरे। महामंत्र की जय। श्री आनंद पुरी वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समगत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय परम ब्रह्मन परमा सत्यम परमेश्वर पति पावन प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम स्वयं भगवान जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदन गौर सुंदर गराधर प्राणनाथ श्री विश्वम्बर मिश्र निमाय पंडित श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र महाप्रभु की जय। परमा दयाल परमा करुणामय अरि गुरु आकंद गुरु भक्ति स्वरूप श्री श्रीमान नित्यानंद महानित्यानंद राम महाजान की जय। श्री नित्यानंद हलदार बलराम की जय। श्री सचिदानंद गौर हरि की जय। श्री सचिदानंद गौर हरि who is not a golden playboy महाप्रभु की जय। जय श्री निताय जय श्री नित्यानंद राम की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य भगवान की जय। शिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सनातन सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जय। Jai Srila Prabhupada Gauri Vaishya ki Jai. Jai Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Om. Om Vrindayai Tulasi Devayai Prayayai Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatayai Namo Namaha. Vancha Kalpataru Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Hari Bol, everybody. Dandavat Pranams. Let's see all who's here. Dandavat Pranams, Niri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Shubhananda Prabhu, Yashoda Mataji, Champak Mataji, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook, Ganga Mataji, Hari Priya Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, and yeah, there's Shubhananda Prabhu on Facebook, Sudevi Didi, Rukmanjari Didi, Nitai, Vidyalalasa Didi, and yeah, Hari Priya Didi. And I see there was a bunch. Actually, today there's a lot of people joining today. So pranams to all of you. I don't know who you are because there aren't any comments. I only see your name when there's a comment. But dandavat pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And tomorrow we are going to. Well, actually, no. Tomorrow is the appearance or disappearance. Let me just see. Tomorrow is the disappearance day of Srila Jiva Goswami, and Śrīvāsa, he translated an article written by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, about the teachings of Jiva Goswami. And he wanted to interview, do you all know Sarva Bhavana Prabhu? He translated a very famous edition of Caitanya-bhāgavata. He's a very, very good translator. He's Bengali, but he spent a lot of time in Germany. He actually has disciples, and but very nice Vaiṣṇava. He'd come and stay in my Gurudev's mat in Jagannath Puri every year for months with his disciples, and I have a nice relationship with him. And he's just a very nice, mature Vaiṣṇava. He's very I'm actually not sure. He might be a Prabhupada disciple, but he has a lot of honor for Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, like especially for Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. He's like very, and he also has a lot of honor for Srila Gurudev and everything. But
what name, Prabhu? Yes, you mentioned.
His name is Sarva Bhavana Prabhu. So Śrīvāsa wants to, and Śrīvāsa wants to do like a interview with him, like going through this article that Śrīvāsa translated of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, that he translated for Gaudiya Patrika pre-66, like before he ever went to the West. And so Śrīvāsa asked if I could, like I'm going to try to help get that set up, but I might do that because this time is the time that works best for most people. And so I'm going to help Śrīvāsa get that all set up. First, he needs to confirm with Sarva Bhavana Prabhu that he had agreed to do this. And yeah, so that might be the program tomorrow. I'll let everybody know in our WhatsApp group, our Caitanya-bhāgavata WhatsApp group, what the program is tomorrow once we figure it out this morning. But then after Jiva Goswami, the day after tomorrow, we will continue our readings. And the next chapter, here, I'll just show you quickly on the screen. Okay, so the next chapter is the characteristics of Nityananda. This chapter describes Nityananda's residence at the house of Śrīvāsa in the mood of a child, the joking conversation between Gaur and Nityananda. Oh yeah, I remember that one. That's really, anyway, that's a really fun part. A crow's theft of Śrīvāsa's ghee bowl that was used for the service of Kṛṣṇa. Anyways, those are going to be the topics, and it's a short chapter, only 5,579 words, so we'll finish that in one day. And then the next day, the glories of Nityananda, and this is also a short chapter, 4,495 words, so we'll also finish this chapter in one day. The glories of Nityananda. And this chapter is the pastime describes Nityananda's endless childishness, his pastime of swimming in the Ganga, his arrival before Mahāprabhu without any clothes on, Mahaprabhu's dressing of Nityananda, offering of prayers to Nityananda, begging Brahman underwear from Nityananda, and the distribution of Brahman underwear pieces to all the devotees. So anyways, we're going to read, so lots of glories of Nityananda. And then the day after that will be the deliverance of Jagai and Madhai. And we'll be reading this probably for around, I'm guessing like 6 days. this will, because this is almost 30,000 words. So, yeah, that's our reading for the next like week, or a bit over a week. So one day, characteristics of Nityananda, the next day, the glories of Nityananda, and then a few days for the deliverance of Jagai and Madai. All right.
Can we load it?
Yes.
The thing about the birds, even if a bird can chant, and you were talking about the parrots,
Yes.
but then I also remember.
You just heard it, the lecture by Prabhupada. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but that was something else. He said, "Don't be like a parrot."
Yes.
I know. I was just remember how animals chanting, and so here is Sivananda Sena's dog. Remember the story? And when they all get back to the dog disappears, but when they get to Puri, he's eating green coconut or very tender coconut, given by Lord Chaitanya, and chanting. And in the presence of everybody, the dog went to Vaikuntha.
Yes.
So he didn't have to take another life. He just went straight home.
But that dog was pretty fortunate. I mean, having Mahāprabhu's associate, Shivananda saying, having so much care and affection and for sheltering the dog like that, and then Mahaprabhu's direct mercy. So that's not an ordinary case of.
No. We're watching you today.
Yeah, I do remember reading here, like in our readings together. I do remember reading something about parrots or like birds like singing, and like not in a good way, like there isn't any benefit singing like a parrot, like what you were saying.
Well, probably, don't be like a parrot, like, because they said at the time, the cat will come and Prabhupada makes a noise, the parrot won't be chanting. He would just be screaming, like. So he said, don't be like that, because if you're just parroting the chanting of the holy name, the test will come. You probably know it's a Bengali phrase, and the true test comes, at the time of death. If your philosophy is sound or not. And so if we are practice, Prabhupada said, practice, seriously practice the chanting and hearing and like that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I think the chanting of the parrot is just building up sukriti, right? So that the parrot will eventually be able to come into association of devotees and then begin the process. But it's not directly like, it's
going home
to the right way so that they'll come in. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But one question arises even day before yesterday, I think. So Sarvasva Tomar bhajan, you mentioned about Srila Haridas Ṭhākur's pastime. So in this also Shivdas in pastime, you just mentioned about the dog. So is it okay to keep a dog or something like that for Vaishnava, or even birds in cage?
Wait, is it possible to keep a bird in? Oh, like have a pet dog like that?
Yes.
Yes, well, I know. Okay.
Yeah.
And you too. You were there. Nirguna Prabhu kept a dog for a long time, and the dog loved Gurudev, and Gurudev never said anything to the contrary.
I think for like keeping a dog, it's like, I mean, of course, like I wouldn't say it's a dog serves a purpose. He's able to keep, like, that's actually like why we, like in Badger, we would keep dogs at our place, because they keep away different like rodents and different creatures that will like mess up the crops and everything like that. Like they do serve, they're part of the serving the community, and so it's actually like the dog's performing a service. And keeping a dog just like for like having like needing somebody to give your affection to, I mean, if somebody needs that for their own emotional thing, like fine, it's not, I don't think it's like bad and horrible, but it's also not like not related to pure bhakti or anything like that. So I don't know, I don't think it's like so bad, but if you keep a dog in the house, then you can't really maintain such a high standard of cleanliness for deity worship. But
Children shouldn't. Thing with children shouldn't be kept in the house.
and with children. Children should be kept in the house. It's very difficult to keep cleanliness.
Oh,
kids.
yes.
She's joking.
I have seen many couples who didn't get baby. They kept maybe 1 or 2 dogs in their house.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
sometimes
different.
people need it for the like just like nothing to do with bhakti or anything like that, but people just need to like they need it for their emotional like to give they don't have any children and there's this like empty gap in them. They really need to give their affection to some kind of creature that has, and so like for an emotional reason they'll keep a dog. And of course that's not anything to do with bhakti, but sometimes we have to do things just for our own mental health and all that kind of stuff. So that I don't know, but I don't. I think it really depends how strictly and how But everybody should act according to their level, right? You shouldn't. So I don't know. What were you going to say?
No, that recently I heard Prabhupada talking about grihastas and the actually simple living, high thinking, meaning that actually cultivating the land. And he said there'll be in the farms, so there'll be animals, especially the cows. He said, but other animals no harm. But they're in a situation in the country, where they can. And the other thing is that I remember you reading either Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, I believe, and the duties of the grihasta is to take care of animals and feed them, and like that. So we offer in our food, we're giving them prasadam, we're giving them a chance to advance, and the next life that could be. We had a cat that she passed away now, and when Shamarani Didi came to, and this cat was always out. She lives outdoors around the house, and Hawaii gets a lot of mice and rats and like that. So she kept everybody at bay. No rats got in the kitchen or for Gauranga's kitchen or in the temple room. And this cat will follow Shamarani Didi when it was time for Gayatri mantra, and she will sit next to her during her, saying the diksha, saying her mantras. So yeah, I mean, it's all time and circumstance, and like you said, if somebody psychologically need the company of a dog.
Was it Jagannath Das Bhagavatam who had the puppies?
Oh yeah, the story, the history of Jagannath Das.
He said, better feed the Dhamvasis, like the dogs of the Dham, the Raskulas and stuff like that, than these bogus Babajis that are, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we read today. In the presence of Lord Chaitanya, these yogis or these Brahmins, they didn't change their practices of Tyaga, their practices of learning for mukta. All that stuff wasn't changed. So. Yeah.
But we also have the example of Jad Bharat, right? Like it's very easy to become too attached to an animal, and we don't want our attachment to go to any other person other than the feet of Guru and Vaishnavas and Bhagavan. Like so that's also another thing. Like people might need it for emotional whatever, like to have some companion or somebody to, but ultimately we don't want to give our affection to anybody except for that. So.
Unless you're smart enough and you name your dog Narayan or something, and yes. So you're attached. He named his son Narayan.
I don't recommend naming dogs Narayan.
No, of course. I was joking, but I'm saying you name something high to.
At the end of your life, you're calling after your dog. Narayan.
We have in our neighborhood a dog named Gopi.
Oh, no.
Nice. It's good remembrance.
Was in Los Angeles, and a famous Swami named Satchidananda, some sort of
yeah. I've heard his name.
He was really famous. He wore saffron and had a long beard and long hair, and he came to visit. And Rameshwar was like, I don't remember. One of the devotees that you would think would be a little more respectful if someone's visiting the temple was like goading him. So he said, well, dog is God spelt backwards, and kept walking. And later on, I thought, well, these people, we used to think, oh, these people are bad, they're impersonalists, etc., etc. now I'm reading Prabhupada's exchanges with this person, and they were very nice, you know. So I was thinking,
Prabhupada knew how to handle
but
them and
I
turn
was
them
thinking
around.
that the person that was showing off to him just made him say that he didn't think that God and dog were equal. But
Or Mayabhakti.
some do.
Yeah, Prabhupada. Then here in Hawaii, there were problems with rats, and Prabhupada said to have what, 2 females, 2 black female cats.
Get 2 female black cats and keep them under the Vyasa-san and give them a bowl of milk every day.
Really?
And
Wow.
that'll get rid of the rats and the mice. How do you keep cats anywhere, though? He said, keep them under the Vyasa-san.
Well, they come when they're fed.
Oh.
They love if they're fed, especially milk. We know that about our cats.
Right.
Okay,
milk.
so you'd have the cats come into the temple room to take care of the business. Yeah, okay, got it.
Right.
Like to do their thing.
Right. At night, you just put a bowl of, little.
But Govinda
during the
doesn't
day.
remember that. She goes, I don't remember anything about black cats, but I of course remember, because it was one of the first times I'd ever been to a temple, and I was becoming a devotee, and she told me the story. So she goes, I don't remember anything about black cats, but he did say to get cats.
Okay, I just remembered Janardhan Maharaj is going to be leaving
Oh.
nowish, and so I should see him off before he goes.
Did you
But,
get that verse? Did you copy the verse? The verse that you were gonna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. No. Jai Ho. Here, does everybody want darshan of Radha Govinda Dev in Jaipur? Live darshan right now.
Jai Ho,
On
Jai
Zoom.
Ho.
Can't see very clearly, but.
Wow.
Ekon Jachin. So,
My Prabhupada said one day we'll see the spiritual world in TV.
Yes, wow. Also, just on this topic of dogs, there's a beautiful class by Gurudev talking about the dog who is what country was he in? He was in France or something like that, right? And he saw the dog that didn't have a master and was running after each car. And anyways, the dog is such an ideal example for us about loyalty and how, like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote that whole song. So we can also take something from the dog. Like we want to become the dog of our Guru and Vaishnavas. And so
11th canto, which was the seminaries.
all right, thank you so much everybody for joining, and I'll see you all tomorrow. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow, but I'll let you know in the chat in our WhatsApp group.
It's a beautiful day.
Yes.
Fully loaded.
And yes.
Sorry.
Dhanyavad pranams everybody. Hari Bol.